in that first fight against Izzy, well, he threw over 60 headshots in round 1, which is more than double the average of what he normally throws. That's because he was feeling the pressure. He was very touchy. He's like, oh, this guy is so good. Let's just go for it. And I admire that. I admire the courage. He had the balls to go in there and throw and go forward through fire, knowing it was dangerous. That in itself makes Robert Whittaker dangerous. But this time... Alright, Saturday night, UFC 271, Israel Adesanya defending the middleweight strap against Robert Whittaker, and I cannot wait. Of course, when it comes to the middleweights, my former division, I always get excited, and of course, they're fighting for my previous title, sons of bitches.
But the fact that you're standing there with that belt on, like you're a champion, makes me sick. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Just kidding, this is going to be an incredible fight. I can't wait for it. Now, the first one, we know what happened. Izzy wiped the floor with Robert Whittaker. Okay, he did. He knocked him out at the end of the first round. He was saved by the bell. And then in round 2, Izzy finished what he started. Took him out of there. Absolutely beautiful. Took him out in style. It was a great display of violence, a display of dominance. And he became the champion. And he's been defending the belt for a long, long time. Okay, and he is on quite the tear. Okay, when you look at him, when you look at the first fight, you would be forgiven for thinking, Izzy's just going to walk right through him. Izzy's going to wipe the floor. Izzy is going to destroy him and do exactly what he did to him the first time round. But there's a few reasons why I don't think he will. Now, I'm not saying that he wins. I'm going to give a prediction later in the week. But I'm going to tell you some reasons why Robert Whittaker is going to do a hell of a lot better this time round. Now, one of the main things, though, that Robert is going to have to overcome is the psychological trauma that he went through on the first one. Okay? As I said, Izzy wiped the floor with him, made him look stupid, knocked him out. Now, whenever you get knocked out, that stays with you. Okay? And it takes a lot of time to exercise those demons. I was knocked out by Dan Henderson at UFC 100 in 2009. We had a rematch in 2016. 7 years later, many fights later, but still, the psychological effect was still there. It still affected my confidence, right? You can lie to everybody. You can lie to the media, you lie to your friends, your family, the fans, reporters, journalists, anybody. You can lie to them, say, oh, it's fine. I'm going to win. I'm good. Oh, that was a long time ago, that loss. Don't worry about it. I'm going to destroy this guy. But you can't lie to yourself. And I remember that's what I did. And I did believe it. I wasn't lying necessarily. But only when you're left with your own thoughts do you start to realize that you are a little nervous. And on fight day, the fight was at 5 o'clock in the morning because of the US audience. It was in Manchester, England. And I was trying to take a little nap. And I was laid in bed, I was trying to nap, and I couldn't. And all the fear started coming in, the anxiety, the pre-fight nerves, the pressure. I'm thinking, man, last time I stepped in the cage with this guy, I got knocked unconscious, and the entire world laughed at me for a very, very long time. And it made me very tetchy, made me very angry, made me kind of nervous, okay, for the fight. And I was being a dick with everybody. I was snapping at my coaches. I wasn't a very nice person to be around. And I remember at the arena, I just started laughing. I was on the floor stretching, and I started laughing. And Perillo, my coach, said to me, what are you laughing at? I said, I'm sorry. I said, I know I've been a dick all day. I said, I've just been worrying about the fight. I said, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to lose. No big deal. I've lost before. I'll probably lose again. And then from that moment forward, I was totally fine. Now, what has Robert got to do different in this fight? Well, I've got some notes here. Oh yeah, Bisping with the notes. I do my research, baby. Thank you, Dominic Cruz.
Did you do your research?
Robert Whittaker, 24-5, 9 KOs, 5 subs. Israel Adesanya, 21-1, 15 KOs, and of course a massive background in kickboxing. Now, when you look at Israel Adesanya, what do? It's simple. Take him down. Take him down. He's a kickboxer. Put him on his back. He can't kickbox. Easier said than done. Israel Adesanya has shown that he's got tremendous takedown defense, okay? And Jan Blachowicz took him down, granted, but he's a bigger guy. Jan Blachowicz is a massive light heavyweight. He took him down in rounds 4 and 5, okay? But that's what Robert's going to try and do. He's going to mix some stuff in. Now, he can't do it against the fence. I've gone over this in a previous video, right? Izzy's very good at defending against the fence. He knows how to work the underhooks and all the rest of it. Plus, he's very tall, so he can always find the ground for his feet. He's got tremendous balance. And, of course, he's got the fence to lean on, to assist him. And on the rare occasion that he gets taken down, having the fence there will assist. All right, real quick, if you're looking for car parts, you want to go to rockauto.com. No more going to a store where somebody's going to sell you things you don't need and they're going to charge you the storefront markups. Rockauto.com. I've been in business for over 20 years, selling every single goddamn car part that you could possibly imagine at the best possible prices. That's why there's no code, because we don't need one, because the prices are so low. Click the link down in the episode description down below, or just go to rockauto.com and tell them that I sent you. So he's got to take it down in the open. And I believe Robert has a very good chance of doing so. Because as a fighter, he has changed. Look at these stats, right? Prior to the first fight with Izzy, Robert had only completed 4 takedowns in his UFC career. Since that fight, in his next 3 fights, he's completed 6 takedowns. 4 against Kelvin Gastelum and 2 against Darren Till. So clearly now he's evolved as a martial artist. He's more well-rounded and he's mixing in more takedowns because the numbers don't lie. Simple as that. In his last 3 fights, 6 takedowns. Prior to that, 4 takedowns in his entire UFC career. And of course, he saw Jan Blachowicz win like that. So that's got to be part of the game plan. Granted, as I say, Robert used to be a welterweight. Jan Blachowicz is a big light heavyweight. So there is a difference in size. But I do believe Robert has the wrestling ability. He was a very good wrestler, an Australian champion. Whittaker's been more active, okay? Whittaker hadn't fought... Well, when Whittaker fought last time, he'd been very, very inactive. He hadn't fought in 15 months due to injury, and he'd only fought 3 times in 3 years before that, okay? So that's not active at all. The more active you are, the more comfortable you are with the surroundings. The better you are at dealing with those game day nerves, the fight pressure, the fans, everyone wanting something of you. And that, again, that inner dialogue. I talk about it all the time. This controls everything. The mind is the most important weapon, muscle, tool that you have. Confidence is a great thing to have. It can be your worst enemy, okay? The doubt can be terrible. The anxiety, the nerves, the tension, overthinking everything, the mind. But the more often you do that, the more often you fight, you get used to doing that. Robert had 15 months off. He'd fought 3 times in 3 years. And in that meantime, he'd seen Israel Adesanya rise to glory, become the insane champion that he is. Seen him take over the sport in many ways. He's a massive star. He's hugely charismatic. Everybody loves the guy, and he's knocking people out. When you haven't been in there for a while, when you've got a little bit of ring rust, and then this guy's just taking care of business left, right, and centre, he's going to mess with that thing once again. Here's another thing. He's going in with better form than the first time out, okay? Against Darren Till, he looked impressive. Against Jared Cannonier, he was incredible. And the best performance so far of his career, I would say, was against Kelvin Gastelum. As I said, he took him down 4 times. The footwork was sublime. The speed, the in and out, the feints, the movements, the shot selection. He mixed things up. Poor old Gastelum, he didn't know whether he was coming or going. He didn't know what was going on. Robert looked sensational, and he's going to look to continue to prove that. Another thing to consider is that this is not happening in Australia, okay? Why does that matter? Well, Robert essentially was the face of Australian MMA. Of course, lots of great fighters from Australia. Mark Hunt, Alexander Volkanovski, of course, current champion at featherweight. But Robert was the face, okay? And the fight took place in Australia. So much pressure. People hitting him up for tickets. The media requests when you're defending the belt in your country is through the roof. And everybody just picking, going on at him, wanting tickets, wanting interviews, meet my friend, do this, do that. It drives you crazy. It drives you up the wall. And it all adds to the pressure. And pressure creates diamonds, some people say. Or it throws you off your game. Simple as that. So that's eradicated. This time it's in Las Vegas. And he's the underdog, okay? Israel's the champ. He's the one with the majority of the media requests, okay? He's the one that everyone's looking at to be the champion. Everyone looking at Izzy to provide another spectacular knockout. Robert, he's just got to come in and rock the apple cart. And another thing, going back to that mindset, in that first fight against Izzy, Robert was tetchy. Robert was trying to force the action. He didn't have a good game plan. He wasn't using feints. He wasn't drawing out the attack from Izzy and then looking to counter. He was lunging in from a distance, trying to land that left hook, and he was getting picked apart. And here's how tetchy he was. The output was through the roof. He landed, he threw threw over 60 headshots in round one, which is more than double the average of what he normally throws. That's because he was feeling the pressure. He was very touchy. He's like, oh, this guy is so good. Let's just go for it. And I admire that. I admire the balls. I admire the courage. He had the balls to go in there and throw and go forward through fire, knowing it was dangerous. That in itself makes Robert Whittaker dangerous. But this time, he's learned his lesson. He's going to be cool, calm, composed, collected, taking his time, letting Adesanya come to him a little bit, okay? Make Adesanya chase you, draw him away from the fence, get him out in the open, right? If he throws a shot, parry the jab, step in with your own jab, right hand under the top, left up, oh, grab those legs, take him down. Oh, look at this, Izzy, now you're on the ground. All these things, all these different approaches, all these different things that he's not been in the same country. He's on the best form of his career. His wrestling numbers have picked up and gone through the roof. He's not the champion, right? He's the underdog. For all these reasons, I think we're going to see a very different Robert Whittaker. He's on the best form of his career, 3 great wins against 3 great opponents, and he wants it. He's hungry again, okay? Trust me, as a man, going out there and getting beaten the way that he did against Israel Adesanya, that's a tough pill to swallow. It does not feel good. And he's a proud man. He's got children. He's got a wife. You know, you don't want to have that happen to you, especially when you're a professional fighter, when you're one of the best in the world. That hurts, okay? It is a rotting pain that stays with you for a long, long time. So it all depends how Robert deals with those nerves on the day. But from what we've seen, from the numbers, from the stats, I think he's going to do way better than what he did the first time. I'm not saying he's going to win. And I'm going to do a breakdown on Izzy tomorrow on what he needs to do to win. But for Robert, it's mix up the takedowns. It's take his time, draw out the shots. I've already said all this. I'll leave you to it. I'll let you go about your business. Listen, do me a favor, subscribe and ring the bell. Saturday, I'm doing a live pre-show, 2 p.m. Pacific time, an hour before the first prelim. So tune in for that one if you can. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell. Take care.